this is the outcome of this flight. I never crashed a drone before. I think it's still working. Yeah, it basically just flew straight up into that. And I didn't have enough distance to brake and just slam into that bush. Yeah.
Guys, he's lying. He let me drive it. And I crushed it.
Alright. So my last video had a giveaway and I had it on Instagram stories. I had received an insane amount of comments and positive feedback, and I'm super thankful to you guys. I will announce the winner of the giveaway at the end of this video. First of all, thank you so much for all the support that I got, and of course this wouldn't happen without iSURFTRIBE and Atua Moe channel, so make sure to subscribe to those. Go check it out. It took me 2 trips to fly to Costa Rica, and this probably was already like 2 months ago. The first trip was mainly shooting a B-roll and all the shots of nature, of landscapes, getting all the drone footage, getting all the wildlife, just basically getting all the footage of people and culture of this country. The second trip was mainly meeting Atua and his dad and actually recording their interviews and also behind the scenes. So Atua surfing and all the B-roll of them doing things around the house in their town. So the first trip I was lucky with the weather. It wasn't raining as much. I have a Mavic Pro 2. The first day, first time we flew, we crashed it. I was flying it too fast and I was trying to return it because it was raining, and I got so much speed that I didn't have enough room to stop it. And I usually turn off my obstacle avoidance because I tried to fly through narrow areas. That obstacle avoidance in sports mode, it didn't have room to stop, and basically it hit the mountain behind me and it fell into the ground. You can see mud on it, but the propellers, the actual body of the drone, everything was fine. I was so lucky. I literally just cleaned it up, put it on the ground and flew it again. It was no problem. The next day when we got to Atua, we were flying the drone and I was trying to get the footage of him surfing, and guess what? It started to rain again so quick, and I tried to return the drone, and by the time I returned it, it just started raining crazy. As you can see on this footage, I'm literally taking it back. The drone is all wet. The next time I'm flying it again, the horizon on the drone is crooked. I'm returning the drone, recalibrating the sensors, cleaning everything up. It doesn't help. So I'm like, oh my god, is it broken? What am I supposed to do? I need those shots. The drone is working, it's just crooked. And it almost looks like those POV drones where they fly so fast. Sometimes you see videos on YouTube and they get this like crazy looks and crooked horizons and all. And I did this shot here where you saw it in the video where I back up from Atua, and I was like, that actually kind of looks cool. Although I could fix it in post and make it straight because it's 4K and the video was in 1080p, I could just crop it on. But I really like the look and I kind of left it like that because it looks like it's zooming out as like a POV drone flying back, although it was recorded on Mavic. It was sitting in rice for like a good 2 days, and I flew it, recalibrated the sensors, everything was fine. The horizon is straight. I'm so lucky. I don't have to send it to DJI or anything. It's just working perfect. The camera kept getting foggy like every minute. You have to take out the lens and clean it from the inside. Because of high humidity in the country, it would get foggy so bad, it would be impossible to shoot. Taking out the lens and cleaning it inside and all that. So we were like, if we at least get like 2 decent shots of him on the camera, on the drone, and him having the GoPro in his mouth and just having a POV shot, we are good. It's raining, it's humid, our gear is wet, and my other lens, Sigma 35, which is this guy right here, it got broken. The autofocus doesn't work anymore, so I can focus manually, but the autofocus motor is just stopped working. Then my Canon camera itself started fogging, especially the viewfinder and the little screen where you see the settings. You could see it, drops of water inside of the screen. Luckily, again, I had to keep the camera for like a good 2 days in rice, and finally it was good. Also, funny story, it is raining, we're driving in the mountains. We have to drive to this part of Costa Rica, which is like 3 hours away, 2 hours away, I believe, from San Jose. Then you have to take a ferry. It's an hour-and-a-half ferry, and it only goes a couple times a day. And then it takes you on the other side of the island, and then you have to drive like 3 or 4 hours down, and the roads are super bad. Like, we were driving at night, there's no roads. It's just a mud road. On one side it's a cliff, and on the other side it's a mountain. And all you see is like literally nothing. You'll see the rocks falling, like fresh rocks just fell off the cliff, and I had to stop at night and be like, will I be able to even drive over this? Or are there more coming? And we were like freaking out. Should we keep going? Should we pick up the rocks? Should we just go around, or should we go back? Or like, what the heck is going on? So it was kind of crazy, and for us it was the first experience driving in these kind of conditions. For local people, as we stopped and talked to somebody, and we were like, hey, is this even safe to keep driving? And the guy was like, yeah, it's fine, you just keep going straight, it's gonna get a little better. the speed limits are way lower, where in America you can drive on 70 miles an hour, in some states 80. In Costa Rica you can only drive like 50 or even less, and that's on the highway. So that takes a lot of time, plus the roads are always turning left and right because of the mountains, and sometimes you have to drive 20-30 miles an hour for like hours. And the distance that it would take you an hour to drive in America, it'll take you 3-4 hours in Costa Rica, because it's just so bad and it's not that simple. The major challenge probably was obviously the weather conditions. It kind of sucked because all our equipment and clothes was all wet and soaked, even though I had rain covers and the lenses and cameras were weather sealed. Another major challenge, again because of the rain, when we were recording interviews, and you probably heard Atua's voice wasn't as good because we had one directional mic on my camera that I was recording, and another mic was on Moe lav mic, which was just here on the shirt. So it was picking up his sound good, but not Atua's sound. And because of the rain, you could hear a lot of noise. And in post, I was trying to get rid of the noise, but the software sometimes introduces this electronic sound static effect. I don't want to put it up, but like that's the only voiceover I have. And I don't want to cut his part because I mean, he said a lot of good things and I don't want to cut him off just because it's bad. I was like, what should I do? Should I put it up or should I cut it? But after all, we all learn our lessons, and I would make sure to be covered and have different types of mics for different types of situations, either you're outside or inside. For those who love gear, let me show you what I have used. I only had one backpack with me, so I just fit everything in it. My main camera was Canon EOS R. The lenses I brought are Canon 16-35 2.8, that was more for landscape shots or like an opening scene where Atua is walking in. The interview I shot on 24-70 2.8. I kind of like the background look, the ability to zoom in and zoom out to kind of like showcase different angle and stuff like that. And of course I had a Prime 35 1.4 Sigma, which was great because it will give you such a good bokeh and just to show you different perspective. And that's the lens, by the way, that broke. And also I brought 50 1.4 and 100 2.0, which is a macro lens, and I ended up not using them. The drone that I used was Mavic 2 Pro. I am lucky to have it back. It's alive. And also for the shots of Atua, we were using 150 to 600 Tamron. That has incredible range. Let me show you this lens. That is the Sigma version of it, but it's the same thing for Tamron. Look at the size of this thing. I mean, come on, seriously? This is like gigantic. This is a lens. This is so heavy. So that's opened up on 600 and then you can close it up to 150. That is the size of this thing. Seriously? This should be like my thumbnail. Bye-bye! So overall, it took probably a good 3 weeks to edit. And I'm not talking about editing all day long, but I also work. So I'll just edit after hours and on the weekends. So for the next time, I probably wouldn't bring as much gear. So if you made it all the way to this part of the video, I was giving away this book, which is my custom book with my prints that you probably seen all these pictures on Instagram if you follow me there. There is just a lot in here. Some of the photos are not on Instagram, so it's kind of cool to just see what I was up to. And these pictures have been taken all over the world, in New Zealand, in Iceland, everywhere in America and Canada. It's really cool locations. Also Peru, as you can tell here. So I'm very happy to announce that this is going to... Let's see. Mary Matujewska, I believe that's how you pronounce her name. This is your Instagram account. There it is. Like I said, I will contact you on Instagram. Just shoot me your address so I can ship it out. I believe you are from Poland, so I will have to ship it internationally. Just give me your full address and I will have it out as soon as I can. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, all that good stuff. It helps out the channel. It helps me to create more content. Make sure to leave a comment below. I love all the comments, even if they're negative. They actually help me to get better, so please do that. Don't forget, if you are not already, follow Atua and iSURFTRIBE channel. Also, all the gear that I just mentioned and used, I had put down in the description. You can check it out. So thank you guys for watching again, and I will leave it to Atua to give some bonus tips for you. Peace!
I'd like to thank you for watching this and hearing our story. Hope you enjoyed. And I'd like to leave you off with 3 tips for creators, influencers, doesn't matter what social platform you're on. But the first tip is to just create and put content out there, because it can be easy to get afraid of putting stuff out there because you feel like it's not good enough. But then if you don't put it out there, you can't get feedback and improve. So that's tip 1. Second tip is to remember to bring batteries and SD cards. At the beginning, I would forget these things all the time, but just always have a few extra SD cards, extra batteries, and I try to make it a habit as soon as I get back from filming is to just put my batteries charging and to copy the footage off of the SD card. Third tip is dealing with hate and criticism because it's inevitable, and my best advice is to just ignore it and to not engage. Sometimes I would receive a hate comment and I would respond with this long comment and then I'd get all irritated, but now I just ignore it. If it's really bad, I might just block the user, but the main thing is just get it out of your head as quickly as possible. And the fourth bonus tip is to keep it simple. The simpler your kit is, the easier it is to just be more mobile, not worry too much about, do I have the right lens, am I using the right camera, or this and that. Try to keep it simple. Alright, see you in the next one.